So I was hoping to do a spook video today, but it's been a pretty uneventful ride, to be honest. We've had a few little bananas, a few tiny little spooks, but nothing horrendous, to be honest with you. I was sort of hoping to catch quite a big spook or something that we really didn't like, and then sort of talk through how I would handle it, how I would handle it, because it seems to be a bit of an issue for a few people handling spooking on the road. From what I would say is, I like how I have done it, if you like. Even if it's not the first horse that I've broken in myself and trained to the road, if you like, or whatever you want to say. Ooh, drain, here we go. Ooh. But that's really the worst he's going to do. But he tells me, like, look, oh, don't like that, there's a car behind me, I can hear, so I just sort of come out the way of the car. Thanks very much, mate. We've got a dog up in this hedge here. It's windy, so I'm going to plan ahead here, get rid of these cars, because if the dog jumps out the hedge, then I really don't need cars there, okay? So this is how I think on the road. Be prepared. So I already know there could be a dog in that field, in that, you know, this garden or whatever. So if he jumps out, I'm not tense. I've got my left rein ready, a bit shorter than the other one, but I'm also looking for the traffic. So if this dog does pop out, which he looks like he's gone now, then I'm ready. I'm not in a position where, oh, I know the dog's there, so I'm not going to do anything about it. I think ride on the road, it's all about preparation. You need to prepare the horse before you even go on the road. Get your groundwork done, get your desensitisation done, you know, to anything that could possibly go wrong on the road, or what they're going to see and they won't like. Traffic lights, signals, balloons, you know, if someone's having a party, some balloons out. And then once you think, well, once I've thought, okay, yeah, they're pretty tight on that, then I'll proceed onto the road. I do in hand first. I led him out on the road for like over a year, probably more. Since he's 8 months old, I've led him out on the road. Introduced him to all this stuff first, and then, you know, broke him in, took him out straight out on the road, had no problem whatsoever. The one thing I do like to do is I like to keep it loose. I always ride loose. If you know me, that's my biggest thing that people tell me, you should shorten your reins. But there's like, it's windy today, he's looking at the cat, you know, I'm not particularly worried about him. He's doing his job, he's not being silly, okay? He's looking at something, but he's already given me the warning. He sort of lifted his head up a bit, he looked, oh, he's a bit like that, and checking around, there's no cars for us to bump into, you know, if he did spook. If there was cars and I thought he was going to have a paddy, that's really the worst he does. He's like, oh, what's that? We didn't really do anything about it. But I always like to make sure I prepare. Not for the worst, but I prepare myself. If I think something's gonna happen like the dog, then I make sure there's there's cars about. Okay, it's a little bit funny about this Brit. I don't know why he is, been now in a minute, but it's really windy. But I just make sure I'm in a safe place. If anything, I will stop him. I will make sure there's no cars coming, or I'll get myself in a safe place, or try to, as safe as possible. So get rid of the cars, you know. So say if he was going to spook at this gate, I'm going to stop here, we'll call the car on, get the car out the way, and then, you know, deal with whatever he was going to spook at. But they'll tell you, they'll give you signs, you know, even if you've got a couple of seconds to read the sign, they'll give it you. You know, the head's going to come up, they're going to start looking. You need to either start getting their mind off it or prepare for it. And I think that's where a lot of things, from what I've seen looking at YouTube and the videos people have put up, I mean, you can't prepare for things. If you're riding out, if you're unfortunate to be riding out on these 60-mile-an-hour roads with no pavement and people are going past you at 60 miles an hour, then there's no preparation for that, is there really? It's either going to go well or not well. I have no 60-mile-an-hour roads with people going past me at 60 miles an hour or lorries around here, and I personally wouldn't want to ride on them anyway, because you're asking for trouble. well, as you can see all these videos on YouTube, I do feel for these people that obviously have yards on these fast roads, but we're lucky enough here to have, you know, these are fast roads. This is probably a 60-mile-an-hour road, but you know, we're out a little bit more into the country. It's a lot bendier. I find if they're a lot bendier and thinner, you know, people are more obviously cautious going around these corners. But anything could happen. Someone could go squeaking around this corner now and smash into me. But it's the risks you take when you take your horse out on the road. You're riding an animal. I mean, it's bad enough on a push bike, let alone an animal. But I find it is my responsibility as his owner, as his rider, as someone who wants to ride a horse on the road, to get him prepared for the road before I even take him out, and know enough about riding him to deal with whatever the road can throw at me. And like I say, I had a quick look at a few videos before I came out, and I don't know, I mean, people are riding and they're like, oh, you know, whatever, and their horses already like jumped up before they even get out on a hack. And there you go, there's a perfect example. Ooh, but that's the worst money people do. You know, I've been out with sort of people I know, and their horses bucking or trying to buck them off before they even get in the saddle. They're trying to mount it, and it's like moving, and it's like doing mini bucks, and they just literally ride it onto the road doing mini bucks. You know, what's that about? And then, you know, or say a horse that, you know, can't even lead properly, doesn't even have any ground manners, and people just get on it anyway. And it's like, for me, it's chancing it. You know, if he's not listening to you when you're walking with him on the ground, what chance have you got in the saddle? So that's why I'm a big preacher of preparation, and a doer. I practice what I preach, whatever. You know, Money Pit did these lines for over a year. When I see a lorry parked at the top here, I'm straight on it. There's a bus coach here, I'll go hunting for danger. Well, not danger, for trouble, I don't know what to call it, but I want to hunt for those situations so that I can get him like in a controlled way. If there's a lorry parked up here, I think happy days. I'm going to go over to that lorry, I'm going to get him to touch it, I'm going to walk round it, I'm going to get as close as possible to it, so when he does see one moving past him, he's not bothered. And that's exactly what I did with him as he heard him. So okay, we've got some horses on the left here, so I need to be ready for that. So here's a good example. So he's sort of not noticed them, not caused us no problem at the moment. He's most likely going to notice them in a minute and look. At the moment, he's in his own world. When is he going to notice them? Oh, he's had a little look. So, oh, that's okay. So, bop, bop, bop. Nope, we're not looking at those horses. So already, before I'm not going to go, oh yeah, go and have a look at those horses, rev yourself up. And then I've got to deal with them all revved up and all, you know, whatever. If they started galloping around the field, I'm like, no, you're not looking at them. I've like nipped it in the bud before it even started. Okay, so he's still sort of, no, it's okay. I've just sort of, no, we're not looking at that, carry on. It's not a problem. He's like, okay then, cool, it's fine. And that's what I really like about him, but I've got to say, that's probably all down to my groundwork. He knows to listen, if you like. I don't know what to call it, but I just think if you're going to go out on the road, you just need to prepare for the worst, I suppose. You do need to prepare for the worst, and if your horse can't handle it from you being on the ground with him, you know, you've got no chance in the saddle. You are chancing it, and accidents possibly could happen. So, you know, just take that time and do a bit of groundwork, or just take that time, lead them out, get them confident with you. He's confident on the road because I'm confident. I don't care that it's windy. I don't care if a bus came from here now. I don't care if a lorry came from here. The only thing that would slightly concern me would be a tractor carrying a bale on top, just because I've had a few horses literally wig out on stuff like that, but it's not a problem. All I do is I'd probably get into that driveway, stop, and tell the bloody tractor to pass. But I'm preparing, I'm not walking into it. I'm not going, oh, I know he's going to be scared of that bloody tractor, so I'll just ride past it. I'm going to prepare.